Mikhail, my trainer, the Drop Squad trainer, said, anybody have any questions? Email them to Leanne. I'll answer the questions. That's what this episode is. We got 14 questions and we went through all of them. He is such a generous human being. He gave honest opinions and answers, and it was awesome. It was a long podcast, though. It was really long. So hunker down. It's a long one. I love Mikhail so much. As a human being and as a trainer, he's an inspiring person. He's a hard worker. He really, really cares about people and his industry, really, of trainers and rehabbing people. So I think it's a really good episode. I hope you enjoy it. He has very graciously said he'll do this again. So if you have more questions for Mikhail that we didn't cover, email them to me and we'll talk to him again. He Lord knows he and I could talk till the cows come home, till we talk till somebody's dead on the floor. So no problem talking to Mikhail. So if you have any more questions, just email them to me. I'm at leanne@wifeotp.com. Yeah, that'd be great. So thanks for coming back. And I hope you enjoy this episode with Mikhail. Well, before we start, thank you so much for doing this again.
Oh man, listen, I love it, baby. I love it.
I know you do. But I was so glad we got all these questions because almost all of them are really kind of general questions about health and fitness that I think would be super helpful for people. So yeah, I'm glad people asked them.
Yeah, listen, I thought they were very, very good questions. I thought they were questions people are afraid to ask and should ask more often because wellness is a serious thing. Like your personal, even though we put our health to the back burner most of the time and put our finances and everything else in front of it, it is the most important thing in our lives because normally you don't realize that until you're not well. So like, I was impressed with this list of questions. Very impressed.
I was too. And Bert's working on a movie and the movie gave him a trainer. And the trainer said something to me that my mouth dropped open. I didn't know. She said, most people end up in assisted living because they can no longer get off the toilet.
That's a fact.
And when they can't get off the toilet, it's because they've lost muscle mass simply from not working out or from taking care of themselves. And I literally, my mouth, when she said that, dropped open. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yes. And if you followed any rehab centers, if you get in there, most of the rehabs for seniors or masters, it's all sitting on the toilet or reaching up and grabbing a cup.
So crazy.
Because people, unfortunately, don't really want to do anything. And they think they can, they've done it for so many years without doing anything. They think they can keep not doing anything and still do something. And unfortunately, it's a bad plan. It's a bad plan.
It is a bad plan. And at a certain point, it's either hard or impossible to get it back, right?
I call it the bar tab because it's like at a bar where you just keep drinking and you're not really you don't really count how much drinks or how much money. And then at the end of the night, you can't go home until you pay the bar tab. That's when they drop it on you. They want to top off your glass. You're like, sure, why not? Why not? Because it's $30 a glass.
And just like a big bar tab, you can't get off the toilet and you're all screwed there in the bottom.
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
On the toilet.
I'm sure there's some truth to that.
Well, it was a scary statement. And I thought to myself, I mean, I know I've said this a million times, not just to you, not just on this podcast, but in life in general. I'm so glad I started working out with you. And one of the reasons was my back. But the other one was because I was having a hard time getting up from putting clothes in the dryer. I'd have to assist myself. And I thought at 49, what am I going to be like at 69? I'm not going to be able to get up. That's not okay for me. No. I need to deal with my back. And this needs to be a lifelong commitment for the rest of my life so that I can get up off the toilet. I just didn't know it was the toilet.
So that you want to get up. Quality of life is everything.
It's all you got, man.
If you can't go to concerts because you don't want to climb the stairs and you're like determining what you're going to do based on the minimum amount of activity because you've allowed yourself to get to that point, that's not living.
No.
That's not living.
No. And working out is a commitment to give yourself that, right?
It's a gift. Yeah. It's a gift. Everyone should gift themselves.
Yep.
But
I
the
agree.
truth of it is anyone can't do it. And everyone, you have to have a high level of respect for really how complex the body is, because you can have all the good intentions you want. 3 pounds of pressure, you could throw your back out, and then you're really in trouble. You know what I mean? It's like it should scare people. The gym. It's a place where a lot of really good things can happen, but it's also a place a lot of bad things can happen.
Right.
You got to be focused. It's got to be a certain level of respect there for yourself and for your body. You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that people, just because it looks simple, so does tuning up a car, but I don't see anybody jumping under a Lamborghini trying to move the wires around. Like, you just pull it in, you let an expert work with you through it, and then once you've been taught, you can do anything.
I agree with that fully. I mean, I was working out through this online program before I worked out with you, and I was in pain every single day. And I think you've worked out with me long enough to know I'm fairly athletic. I'm not, I'm not an unathletic person. I'm
You're being very, very modest. Yeah, okay.
No, but I am. I'm fairly athletic, and so
you're a beast.
Well, I mean, but my point is, I was working out in a program where someone who has no knowledge of the body like you do thought they were doing the techniques right and ended up in pain every day. So then I started working out with you and find out, oh, I should stay away from these things for now until we strengthen up these other things. And then you can get to those things and then you have no pain. So I think a lot of people get confused. I was very confused by that because I kept going, well, I'm doing everything this woman is saying and I'm still hurting. So maybe I need an expert to help me personally instead of just watching something. Anyway.
Yes. I mean, when you think about tutoring, why is it so much more effective when the tutor actually shows up at the house?
Yeah.
That one-on-one, it's just more effective when it's in person because you can't see everything when you're not where you can see it.
Right.
And so it may look like the same thing, like pretty girls in the dark. They look until the lights come on, you're doing all right. And then lights come on, you're like, wow.
Not all things are created equal.
Not all things are as they seem. Let me get some expertise in this situation and turn the lights on first.
That's right. Well, let's do our questions.
I'm up for it.
All right. Question number 1. What kind of diet regimen does Mikhail suggest in general? What does a day in the life with meals look like, and is any fasting involved? Awesome question.
Okay, yes, very awesome. And I'm going to attack it in 3 pieces, but I'm going to go backwards to front. Fasting. Fasting's a very good thing. That's why everybody's all amped up about it. But the thing about fasting is you're just giving your body a chance to digest all the food so that it can use all its nutrients, and you're starting at 0 when you start to add food in. So a lot of people like to do intermittent fasting and start their eating from 1 to 9. But the thing is, when you empty out your body like that, like you empty out a gas tank and you want to put the best gas back in. But what happens is people are starving because they've never went that long without eating, and they want to put pancakes so what you've done is you bottomed out the system so it's ready to receive, and you throw junk right into the fuel system. So it ends up not working. So what I would suggest is fasting is really built around the concept that you're allowing your body enough time to digest food. So there's a lot of people that eat every 3 hours. So when people talk about fasting, that's what going to sleep is. When you're going to sleep, you're fasting. Right. When you wake up in the morning, you should, if you slept 8 hours or shut it down at 8 o'clock, by the time you wake up the next morning, it is 12 hours of fasting. So all this, people try to make it more than what it is. You fasted already. Okay, so now let's put something good in. Look, this is where it goes right. It's like breakfast should never be over 500, never be more than 500 calories. It's just it's to break the fast. Break fast.
Right.
So it breaks your fast.
Mm-hmm.
If the first thing you introduce is pancakes, bacon, and sausage, that's like 2,500. Like that's your daily allowance,
right.
and your body is like jammed. Now you've come off this fasting into this jam. So I like fasting if it's done properly. You are fasting. That's why they call it break fast. And just remember to eat something healthy, high fiber, high fiber so that it burns slow so you're not hungry in the next 2 hours. I like to start my day off with raw, steel cut oatmeal. Maybe a teaspoon of cinnamon to give it a little yop, and then a tablespoon of honey. And like, I'm off and running. What does a day in the life of meals look like? Really, you should try. The idea is like 4 to 6 ounces of some source of clean protein and 2 cups of dark green broccoli, kale, asparagus. That's not that dark. Arugula, like just the darker the green of the leaf, the more biotin, the more minerals in it. So like dark greens, you can rarely go wrong with. That's not peas. That's not green beans. Those aren't dark green. Like your kales, your spinaches, your broccolis, like really get them rich.
Mm-hmm.
They will help break down the protein that your body is consuming. If you're going to mix a carb in there, it should be a high fiber carb so that it's all working toward drawing fuel from it and then using the bathroom. You should use the bathroom almost after every meal, like a dog. You should eat. 30 minutes later, you should need to use the bathroom. But what has happened is if you eat food that does not digest, lots of white starches, sugars and carbs and things of that nature, you're not going to the bathroom.
Right.
It's going to jam it up in you. So like, it isn't that you don't need to, it's that you're not.
Right.
So when people say you're full of, they could be very right. So the idea is to keep it simple. Dark greens and proteins digest and fuel the system.
Right.
If you need some sort of fuel that doesn't burn as quickly as those two things, I'd jam it up with like a sweet potato, a yam, some brown rice, oatmeal, like things that are high in fiber that help keep pushing things out. It takes about 3 hours for your body to digest a proper sized meal, which is like 4 to 6 ounces of a clean protein, 2 cups of a dark green, and maybe a fourth a cup of a brown rice or a sweet potato, a small sweet potato. Like it can digest that in 2.5 hours. So by the end of that 2.5 hours, 30 minutes later, you're back on to that kind of fasting feeling. You'll feel it. When you're eating high fueled food, you get lightheaded 2.5 hours out. You're like, I need to eat. Yet your body will tell you. So you're burning off what you've stored and feeding the body what it needs.
Right.
So a day in the life of meals looks like wake up with oatmeal. 2.5 to 3 hours later, I'm going to have me probably 4 to 6 ounces of a clean white chicken breast, 2 cups of spinach, make it have a chicken salad like that. You can cut up some broccoli and put it up in there. You can mix the spinach with kale and put it up in there. A tablespoon of olive oil and vinegar and kill it. 2 to 3 hours later, I'd have a small red apple or like 20 almonds. We like almonds because almonds are the highest protein nut with the least amount of fat. That 20 is about the number before it starts to betray you. A snack like that. 2 to 3 hours later, I come back and eat the same thing, like a clean white piece of fish, 4 to 6 ounces maybe, and then 2 cups of like maybe broccoli this time, and maybe a fourth cup of brown rice because it's still early in the day, and I'm gonna burn that rice off. 2 to 3 hours later, I have another stack, maybe a protein shake, maybe 20 almonds, maybe a small red apple. Red apples are good. The darker the skin, the more nutrients, the more. And
you would let me have strawberries too.
Yes,
4 strawberries.
High fiber.
Yep. And I ate a lot of avocado. I mean, is that okay?
Avocado, very, very good.
Loved avocado. I had avocado like 3 meals a day.
Yeah, avocado is almost purple. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I wouldn't have more than a half a day because it does have its fats and its oils, but it is good. Yeah. It's purple green. So yeah, avocado. I do like the strawberries, but make sure when you have your fruits, especially like the strawberries or the blueberries, which are great antioxidants, you have them early. so you can burn the sugar off.
Oh, that's funny. I always ate mine for dessert at night. Good old Southern girl. I wanted dessert with my dinner, and I saved my strawberries for after dinner.
But I'm sure you weren't going to bed right after dinner either. So like,
no, I wasn't going to bed right after
you're
dinner.
up at 8, having that last meal, and you're going to be up for a couple hours, put them in.
Oh,
I do like strawberries, high fiber, and tastes very good. And I like blueberries because great antioxidant. They also help the body kick out. So like,
now what do you think about nut butter?
I think when you start to play, I don't have a problem with nut butter if you've done the research on it and make sure that it's not hidden dessert,
right?
Disguised as an organic nut butter. You see what I'm saying? Like, if it's made with digestible materials, which means you can turn it over on the back and understand all the ingredients. Right. If you turn it over on the back and you don't know what some of those words mean, that's not what you should be doing.
Right.
I know. Almond milk tastes delicious. Yeah, I know it does. That's a problem.
I don't drink almond milk, but every once in a while, I don't want almonds. I want almond butter. Like I want the texture and the flavor.
If that almond butter is organic and really made from almonds.
Right.
And I think that's good.
Yeah, just a tablespoonful. Growing up, I used to eat tablespoons full of Jif peanut butter all day long.
For sure.
So every once in a while, I just want a tablespoon of nut butter.
Racker crackers and some Jiffy. Man,
heck yeah.
Let me tell you something. You good, man. You are good.
Some goober grape. Bring it on. Not now, but when I was little.
Yeah, when your body was working with you. Yeah, you can away with a whole bunch of stuff.
Let me tell you, I was so skinny as a kid. My daddy used to say my legs were going to break off and stick up in me. They were so small. I was the skinniest little rail. And then, life happens and all of a sudden you're 50 and you're like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not anymore.
Yeah, but you've done really nice by your figure and you worked very hard for it.
Oh, well, thank you. I have worked hard for the last year and change that we've been working together. I've worked really, really hard.
No question. No question.
Okay, I think that got number 1 pretty good. What do you think? Anything else to add?
Yeah, I just want to say this in general.
Okay.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
Bad habits are difficult to break. This concept that you can't do something because you've spent your whole life doing something else is a lie. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is prioritize it. I had a very influential human being in my life who just couldn't figure out how to control his selections. Mm-hmm. He was diagnosed with cancer, and all of a sudden, my nutritional plan was what they advised: dark greens, proteins. Anytime he had any kind of starches that were high in fiber, 4 or 6 ounces of clean protein, 2 cups of dark green, and for the 7 years we were able to be gifted his presence, he had no issue with it.
Wow.
And it's because the circumstances had changed. I was his trainer for 9 years, would never get on a plan. And life depended on it. He got on it and embraced it.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's tough only because you've been undisciplined, but you do have the ability to control. It just has to matter.
It has to matter. And I think another piece of it is you have to have some kind of system. Like you can't just go, I'm just going to do this. Yeah. No, what you made me do was write down everything I ate, which then created a system, right? Yeah, right? You forced a system, but everything in your life is a system. And
but
problems are
also
systemic.
Having somebody who will hold you accountable.
That's exactly right. Yes.
But
that's
the system
true.
is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I let you see for yourself. See what that does when you put it in your stomach? Mm-hmm. Are you sure you want that? Like, now that you know what it really is costing you. Yeah, it was free at the buffet, but look at what it costs you on the scale. Like, if you don't mind that, then we have more of that. But if you don't like it, then we'll make another choice. You know what I mean? And what you end up doing when you're really trying to accomplish something is making the choices that are best for you. And that ends up being a system. Yes.
Right. A system. Right. Yep. Okay. Number 2, Could you discuss overtraining signs and how to avoid continuing down that path?
Okay, good. People who use the word overtraining don't have a trainer.
Good point. Good point. They don't have a trainer.
They don't have a trainer. They decide they don't want to spend money on a trainer because they think it's not necessary. But then they ask the question about overtraining because obviously they've injured themselves. That's how you know. Because no one's going to go to the gym and do the things they don't want to do. No one's. That's why men don't do legs, because there's no trainer there going, it's leg day. So why would they when they can do arms and put on a muscle shirt?
Right.
So what it boils down to is, if you have a trainer in control of that, you can train every single day of your life. These elite athletes who are made of the same matter you're made of, they train every day.
Right.
And then they go out and play. These golfers, you see how Tiger Woods trains that whole game? Oh, I'm going to get stiff. As soon as he wiped it, they all got into the gym. Now all of them buff. Like,
right.
We just lie. So we're lazy by nature.
Right.
We just don't want to. That's why anything that makes our life easier, like Uber, oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, somebody else go get my stuff. Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Then, anything that lessens our responsibility and enhances, us doing less seems to be remarkably successful. And unfortunately, in the end, we're really hurting ourselves. The best thing we had going for us was we had to go to the grocery store and walk around and pick the stuff. Now you got other people doing it. It's like, wow. So
so overtraining is really about training improperly.
It's about training them properly, training the muscles you want to train and skipping the ones you don't. And not knowing you have to go to the edge. If you're going to go to the edge, you should have somebody there to hold your hand. Because the body will not change. You will not get what you're looking for if you don't play on the edge of it.
Right.
That's why, so like training is overtraining means usually means you've trained the same muscles too often. And you've trained them without consideration of tendons, ligaments. You've not trained the small muscles. You're training the show me muscles.
Got it.
Keep showing you keep training show me muscles, and I promise you, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you need to rehab. So here's the thing about training. Get a trainer. Have him create a regimen. So you can't afford one. Cool. Have him see him for 3 to 6 sessions so he knows your body, knows who you are, knows what it does, knows what you want to look like. Have him write you up a regimen. Follow it for 3 to 4 weeks. Go back and get it tuned up. Changed. And then go on your own 3 to 4 weeks. Go back and get it tuned up.
Right.
If you haven't decided that money is worth it. Right. Now I'm going to say this. You know how difficult it is to be accountable to yourself for 3 or 4 weeks?
Very hard.
You don't have any problem paying for the car note that you leased. You have no problem paying the mortgage on your house. None of those things are doing anything for you. They're just providing you with a place to lay your head and drive to another spot. But your body, people just don't, they want to, that's when you want to be cheap. Like, if you take care of this, all that other stuff takes care of it. So
I agree with you completely. Yeah. And you have to, it's about spending smart money, right?
Yes.
Where do you spend smartly?
Exactly.
It's not smart to go out to eat all the time.
No, ma'am.
But if you stop going out to eat and eat clean, you can afford the trainer. So the smart money is the trainer, right?
That's one of my tricks right there. When one of my clients come to me and they're like, I can no longer afford you. I said, sure you can. No, I can't. Of course you can. How many times you go out to eat this week?
Yeah.
I want to know every time you pulled up in the Hardee's, every time you pulled up in the In-N-Out. Let's add all that money up.
Yeah.
Now, think about the money I'm saving you on your grocery list.
Right.
If you eat clean. Look.
Yeah.
And once we did her budget, she was like, wow, not only can I afford you, I have a lot left over. Yeah, because you're not thinking straight. You mean, how can you afford me and still go out every night and still eat whatever you want? You probably can't. But the money that you're already investing in all that is there for you to invest smartly.
Yes. To me, now that I've been with you for a year, I feel like it's as important as investing in my retirement, because I'm investing in not in being able to get off the toilet, which is my retirement age. So it's a totally different mindset about training. Now, I may not have felt that way in my 20s. In my 20s, it would have probably been about vanity, not about
Which
health.
is a good thing. I love vanity.
That's fine too.
Love some vanity.
I'm probably the least vain person so it was no motivation for me. I've got no vanity. I don't give two craps about that usually, but at a certain age, it became important because vanity, how I look, has never been super important to me. I'm lucky in that I happen to be, somewhat nice looking as a person.
I was just about to say, yeah, pretty girls say it all the time.
But I think they did. I mean, I think so. I think I'm privileged in that way that I just happen to be genetically, not by any means Christy Brinkley, but I'm a decent looking person.
Well, I believe you Bert's Christy Brinkley.
Yeah, I'm more than that for Bert. You have no idea. All right, number 3.
Actually, I probably do.
You probably do.
Yep. I've been around that early morning hustle.
Bert likes a bossy bitch.
Yo, how you gonna be creative if you don't got somebody who can reel it all in? It's beautiful.
We make a good team, he and I.
Yeah.
Number 3, what is the importance of muscle recovery and things we can do at home to ward off stiff or sore muscles?
Muscle recovery. Mm-hmm. Very important. But here's the thing. If your training regimen is proper, the muscles will be recovering that you're not working on the off day. People think recovery means you take the day off. No, ma'am. No. Recovery means you don't work legs back to back.
Right.
So if you work leg day, then on the next day, you can still go work out. Just don't do legs.
Right. And drink lots of water, right?
And lots of water keeps the muscles pliable. Water is oil to the body.
Yeah.
My suggestion is a minimum of a gallon a day. If you do that, that muscle will stay pliable. You'll stay pretty much hydrated. You won't have demineralization take place. You won't tear something, hurt something. You should be
balanced and rotating, right?
Yeah, balanced and rotating, and that needs to be under the guise. I love this because this makes it sound like I'm trying to drum up business for training. Believe me, I despise them because I don't think many of them care enough. I don't think many of them know enough.
Right.
I don't think many of them really have your interest. They have their Corvette lease.
Right, their pocketbook. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in the end, it's better to have had one and you done your work to make sure he's the right one than to just venture into your own thing.
Right.
You end up being built like a box and not understand why that didn't work. Because you watched a model do a videotape.
Right.
Don't forget that everybody on YouTube who's trying to introduce you to some program was trained by somebody else or is hired to present fraud. Like they didn't use that to get where they're at. They were trained by somebody else and now they're there already. Now they're using it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the best thing you could do is just seek a little help. Like just be smart enough, like you would if you were looking to invest your money in the stock market, to seek advice from somebody who's doing it. And then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, totally. I have 2 women who are regulars on my podcast. Their names are Kristen and Jocelyn. And Kristen is a therapist and she specializes in resilience. She wrote a great book about resilience. But she sent an email through her McDermott Method program. I think it was today. And it said, your superhero power is asking for help. And I was like, that is great because that is the truth. You don't know everything about everything. You're not supposed to.
No.
And so your superhero power is asking for help. I thought that is just brilliant. If we could really embrace that.
And I got one for you Christians. Because I'm Christian. I'm spiritual. My mother used to say, people think angels are going to come down from heaven. They're already here.
Right.
Everything you need is at an arm's reach if you reach out. Like you'd be amazed. You don't need a house if you have a great friend who will let you sleep on the floor. You don't need a car if you got a good friend who will give you the keys. You don't need a refrigerator full of food if you got 4 places you can find a meal. Like you want to own everything. That's not what he said. Your territory will expand. That may mean you have to ask.
Yeah, right.
You have not because you ask not. Like,
that's right.
you may have to squeak a little to get some oil.
Yes.
Trust me. You get all the credit after you get the oil. So squeak. Like,
Yeah,
squeak,
totally.
get the oil, do your thing, bam.
Right.
And make it look like you didn't ask nobody. Like, help is a beautiful thing.
Well, it should be. You should tell everybody you ask for help, because that'll inspire other people. It makes it okay for them to ask for help.
Yeah, I ask for help all the time.
Oh, I am the biggest one. I am the first person that says, "What does that word mean?" I have no idea what that word means. I say that all the time. Back to the gallon of water a day. The healthiest human being that I know is my daddy, who is 73. And his last physical was right before the pandemic. And his blood pressure is about 50 some years old. He has no cholesterol issues at all. No weight issues. That man has drank a minimum of a gallon of water every single day my entire life for 50 years. I don't even
want to tell you what it's going to do for your skin. Like, we're not even talking about.
Right. Well, he has good skin too, but he's friggin' on the inside really healthy. Like, that guy has no medical issues. And I guarantee you, and he's still in the South. Until his mother passed away, he ate what she put on the table, which was not a lean protein with a green.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
It was water. Lots of water.
One thing about toxins, you can put them in and you can rinse them out.
You can rinse them out. He rinsed all that lard right on out.
Right. Well, if you go have fried chicken, you got to put it in some lard.
There you go. Okay. What is your opinion of foam rollers, saunas, and icing stiff muscles?
Love them. They're all recovery instruments.
Yeah, they are awesome.
The foam roller gets rid of the fascia in the legs that builds up from the muscle tearing that you've done in the gym, so blood can flow through them and help you heal and therefore get rid of the soreness. The sauna creates heat. It rushes blood to the system to soften the muscles so that they can relax, to get the toxins out of your body, again, for recovery, so you can feel better, go back to the gym and do some more damage. And you should never, the word stiff is funny. If you're stiff because you're sore, you should not use ice. Ice will help you recover, but it's not going to take this. I don't want to say take the soreness away. That's why you take an ice bath and then a hot bath, because the ice brings all those capsules together, and that heat opens them up and then opens the muscle up. So, like, it's one big contraction that then relaxes the frame and then allows you to get out the soreness. But stiff, if it's caused by trauma, like you hurt yourself, you should ice immediately. You should ice for the first 24 to 48 hours. But if you're stiff because you got a great workout in and went home and sat down on the couch too long, an ice pack,
moving is what helps that.
Moving is what helps that.
Yeah, moving.
You haven't sat down too long. Like, what you doing? Like, get up. And then when you're sore, start moving.
Right, move.
Your body is telling you, do not let it lie to you. Move.
Right. Just move. Okay. Move. Can you discuss supplements you personally take or recommend for someone to start taking, such as vitamin D, zinc, magnesium? How do you feel about what you say?
No, keep going.
How do you feel about protein powders and snacks? Are they fitness gimmicks, or do they actually help someone avoid poor food choices? Let's just start with the... Go ahead. Actually, what? No, you go.
No, you go.
I like the actually. So actually, what?
Actually, it's not that difficult to answer to this question. Actually, I can answer both, though. It's the same question.
Okay.
So here it is. Supplements and proteins are not, the FDA doesn't have to, they don't look at them. So the people that sell them to you aren't required to actually have what they say in the package.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So every bottle of zinc that you buy doesn't necessarily have zinc in it. Every vitamin D doesn't necessarily have vitamin D, and you can't sue them because it says at the bottom of every single one of your supplement packages, not by the FDA.
Really?
Yes. So they're free to sell you sawdust. Everybody knows zinc, vitamin D, magnesium help you, especially during Corona times.
Right.
Problem is, how do you know you're getting what you want? How do you know
Right.
you're actually getting what they say in these capsules? How do you know? And you got to do your own research on that. I'm not going to promote anyone's supplements because I'm not sponsored by any of them.
Right.
I
No.
don't want to drive any business their way, and I don't, and I can't speak on their reliability like I would like to before I put my name behind something. But supplements are outstanding. If you do your proper research, don't go to the most popular one. Go to the one that has their own labs that actually do the research to make sure. Ones with big names always work because they don't want to be sued. Even if you don't win, they don't want their name connected with fraud because there goes their whole.
Right.
So when you see Twin Labs or something like that, they don't want you to go to be a scientist and pop one of their pills over and be like, it's, they're
Sawdust.
they're gonna be scared because
Right.
it's a multi-billion-dollar company, Nature's Way. I'm not saying that's what I look for. The Nature's Way, because they don't want me to get on them and start yelping.
Yeah, totally.
So, yes, zinc, yes, vitamin D. Yes, I love supplements because there's no calories to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can eat healthy and still be big as a third grade pencil because calorie countage in a banana it's huge. So as good as it's for you. That's why they always throw them in the protein shakes because it tastes great. It fills you up, but it's hefty in the calorie count.
Right.
So like it's all science, weight gain and weight loss, and you can eating healthy, you can put it on like you can eating a Whopper from Burger King. So I love powders, protein powders. Just want to make sure the protein powder is clean. There's a lot of junk in it because protein powders do actually cut down on the appetite because it feeds the muscle. It's problem is when it's junk because they're trying to make it taste so good, it can actually set you off and make you want to eat more. You know what I mean? So like, if it's highly nutritious and you use it for a supplement, it is supplementing a meal. You can't get to your meal, so you have a protein shake.
Right.
You can't get to your snack, so you have a protein shake. Try to get the good ones.
So do you like a protein shake, protein with collagen in it?
I love collagen. I love protein with collagen in it. Your joints and that soft tissue, it needs help. You put all that pressure in your body on it. You're running on them all the time. These things wear. They're like tires.
Yeah.
And if you can put anything in that body of yours to help feed that, to help enhance that tissue, to help support that tissue, as long as it's what they say it is, and the best way to check on that is people love to talk. So like people don't normally reach for new stuff until they're hurting.
Right.
So they reach for it and you read the first. I don't buy products with 100 comments. I buy products with thousands.
Yeah, right. That is very smart research. The more comments, the better.
Right. Because I can get 100 people to say anything.
Do anything, right?
I can't find 2,000 people now. Somebody gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, and I read the negatives.
Yeah.
I don't read the positives. So there'd be like 1 star, be like 3 people. I read their 3 comments because there's some truth to people who purchased, who've taken the leap.
Yeah.
But I love protein shakes because if you drank 6 of them, not only, and then it's the right protein, you're under 1,200 calories.
Right.
And you're full and you're nutritionally fortified and you're going to be working up pure fat, the pure fat you stored in your body. And let me tell you, that's why people go to these all liquid diets. You get a liquid grain, you get a liquid protein, so you don't even have to chew it. Like it goes immediately into your system and into the processing. It can be very tough. You're going to feel very like you're running through mud a lot because your body is burning strictly bad fuel, processing the good stuff, burning out the bad stuff. But boy, you'll drop weight like you're on crack.
So if you need to drop weight, may not be a bad plan. You need to drop weight
for a roll or something. You don't got a lot of time.
You got a wedding coming up.
Got that class reunion.
Class reunion. I was going to say class reunion. Yeah.
Might want to go that all liquid real quick.
Okay.
Nice protein shake. Nice little dark green. nice ultimate greens, and drink that thing. Smoothies.
Okay. Any advice for someone who's interested in working with a personal trainer? What questions should be asked to see if they are the right match for personal needs, i.e., injury recovery, someone who doesn't need to be coddled but needs help with form, or a personal workout plan?
Yeah, here's my advice to your personal trainer. Make sure that he knows something about rehab.
Okay. Every trainer should know something about rehab.
Every trainer should know something about rehab. And if you don't have a trainer that knows something about rehab, don't sign up with him. Find one that does, because you're going to hurt yourself. During this process, you haven't done anything in a couple of, you're going to hurt, something's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes.
And normally you have to cancel on that very new trainer because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
My clients, normally they find me hurt.
Yes.
Back.
Yeah. Sandy shoulder.
And the average guy can't help them. And then I'm of service. And that's great because we build a trailway of trust quickly. Because if I get you out of pain, I'm part of the process now. And you, in the trust and honesty we had to get to early. And it won't be the last time we run into a situation like that. But we won't miss the session because you failed and your knee's the size of a grapefruit, or because you tripped and think you tore your meniscus. Like I like being part of the system that keeps you going.
Right.
Because that's the point. It's like, well, what do we do? The answer is never nothing.
Right.
I try to tell all my people, treat it like you would if you had cancer. Would you ever sit down and do nothing?
No.
You would attack it. Because the only thing you can do and actually survive it is attack it. So that's what you do with injuries, but you got to have somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right. That makes sense. That's really good advice to not hire a trainer if they don't have rehab knowledge or training.
Right. Because you know what else that does? It slows their brain down.
Oh.
Now they're looking at you trying to prevent, because they know how to heal. They're trying to prevent break instead of like, I want to see how much you can take. That's why I'm not a big fan of CrossFit.
So then that brings me to a good question, right? I think a question I've always been curious. Should you look, say I moved to a different city and I'm looking for a new trainer and I meet a woman and I don't like her body. Like she looks like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Should I train with her? Even because I don't want to look like a bodybuilder.
Let me ask you this. If you went to buy a Porsche and I offered you a Toyota Corolla, would you be all right?
No, I would not.
Okay, so I'm not saying that there are a lot of trainers who don't look like what they know. But I am saying this. They're not practicing what they preach. So why would you ever want somebody? Because you're going to get in one of those arguments while they're sipping on the Frappuccino and be like, I don't want to eat like this anymore. Look at you. You're drinking Frappuccinos. What can they say?
Right.
Oh, well, I did all this to get here and now I can have a Frappuccino? No. You want somebody that you feel like has been there, because and that when you want to quit, you look at them and they inspire you, because you're like I almost lost sight, because it's hard of what you really came here for.
Right.
It's good to have somebody that when they show up, they look fit, they look strong. They can do everything they'd asked you to do.
Right.
They have a real gauge on what that limit is because they've done it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like, because well,
I know how you work out in some ways affects how your end result. So if I lifted a lot of heavy weight, I'd imagine I'd be building a lot of bulk.
Okay, good. That's not true.
That's not true? Okay, good.
Everybody thinks that's a myth.
Okay, good. I'm glad I asked that question, because I truly thought, I was like, if I'm lifting 25 pounds instead of 7, I'm going to have big old biceps.
But you are lifting 25 pounds when I take your body and flip you upside down and put your whole lower half on it. You're lifting 85 pounds. The thing about lifting heavy is it makes your body smaller. Because the muscle the fat's turning into muscle. 5 gallons of fat look like this. 5 pounds of steak looks like that.
Right.
But here's the problem. If you're shoveling in.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get big. because now you got mass you're making. But if we're eating on a proper nutritional plan, you're not holding anything. There's no storage to turn the muscle. So you can't build muscle from not having mass.
Right.
All you're doing is tightening the frame up by forcing your body under light mat in a moderately fueled state to perform.
Right. Okay.
So like you really want to lift hard, but you want to control the fork. And that's the problem. When you lift hard, the muscles open up, they want to eat. And when you eat that 4 ounces of protein and a little bit of greens, you're still hungry. And then you want to, drink your water.
Yeah.
That'll fill the stomach up, make you fool you for 2.5 hours, and then you can refuel until that stomach shrinks. But then when you get to the frame you want, then you want to be careful because you can add muscle. You can add muscle.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you can build the kind of body you have to unbuild before you go back and try it again. And that is horrible.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always saying seek advice. But don't let anyone tell you lifting heavy makes you big. Heavy fork.
Heavy fork makes you big.
So when everybody says doing all these crunches gives you abs, stop buying these machines. The fork control gives you abs.
Right.
90% of it is fork control. If you can't control your fork, there isn't a machine out there that's going to help you. These people who you see these abs on, they control what they eat.
Right.
And they're doing these ab exercises for detail work. But if you're doing the work properly, your abs are engaged in everything you do anyway.
Right.
Abs isn't something you do at the end of the workout for 10 minutes. It should be something that's done throughout through every exercise you do.
Right.
And there is a technique to that.
Well, everything I do with you, my abs are involved.
Yes,
There's
ma'am.
nothing we do that doesn't involve your abs.
Absolutely correct.
Nothing.
And I must admit, you do what we do. You do it very well.
Well, thank you. I try.
As your husband said, you listen to what I ask, you give me what I ask for, and you have no ego on it. I love it.
No, I think that's right. Okay, number 7. I'd love to know more about easing into workouts. The legs against the wall to help with crunches was beyond helpful. Do you remember saying that last podcast?
I do. Because I actually, this is one of the things I think make me special. Listen, I have no problem with thinking I'm special.
You are special.
If I don't think I'm special, ain't nobody else going to either.
Oh, so no, you are very special.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. I think of the cheats. I think of ways I would cheat and why my back hurts when I'm trying to do abs, or why my back hurts while I'm trying to do this, or why I don't feel that in my butt. I feel it in my knee. So like when I design our workouts, I try to beat your cheat. I try to put you in a position where you can't cheat.
Right.
So
because Sandy's gonna cheat.
Sandy gonna crank up that speed. She gonna get that speed going. She a dog though. She a dog, but she got to slow down.
She's a cheat. You ought to play a board game with her. Then you try to gamble with her, that girl will cheat.
Well, you know what they say. If you ain't cheating a little bit, you ain't trying hard enough.
Oh, I'm too ethical to cheat.
I don't think, and you know what? Because the cheat is minimal or to zero, the effectiveness of it is 100%.
Right.
I just think you come to get it because you were without it for a while. And I think everybody comes to get it for certain reasons. And if you really understand what you're getting, you don't want it's like eating a fine steak. You want to gobble that down. You want to marinate in this steak. It's good meat. So you want to take your time. You know what I mean? And you should treat your exercise. I used to tell people all the time, make love to yourself.
Right.
Because if you go fast, you just got to F yourself up. Make love to yourself. Take time. This is a beautiful thing you're doing. Just take your time with it.
To me, if you're paying attention to technique when you're working out, because if you do it right, it's the most effective. So if you're not going to do it the most effective, then you're wasting your time. I mean, I'm a maximizer of time. If anything else, I am efficient and I maximize my time. And sometimes being efficient means slowing down and doing it right.
That's right.
Because if you do it right, you get the effect faster. Instead of doing it faster, it actually ends up slowing you down. So when we work out and I try to do the technique exactly as you told me and not to go fast through it, where sometimes I think I'm going really slow and everybody else is ahead of me, but it's because I'm trying to do it exactly right. Because I think that gives you the best results. That's what you're supposed to do.
And it's beautiful from my perspective to watch you girls because I see you do that.
Yeah.
And all I do is I find the slowest person, and that's where the count starts.
I know, Sandy.
So you can go fast all you want. We'll just be here until you slow down.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason heavy weight exists.
Right.
As you now know, you can take 5 pounds and murder someone.
Oh, yeah.
But they can be careless. They don't want to do it fast. But the minute it's 20 pounds, everybody's slow.
Yeah.
So your dumb trainers, they like to use a lot of weight because they don't have to take the slow down. You're scared. But in that process, you can also hurt yourself. And, at some point, heavy weight's going to make something happen. I like to take small, intricate things you disrespect.
Right.
And teach you to respect it.
Well, today we started doing that workout today. I was like, he's working on like the teeniest, it's one strip of muscle that I haven't touched since 1982. And he's decided this one piece, and it was killing me. And I kept going, yes, ma'am. This is not as hard as Monday's workout, but I am dying. Those leg lifts, I was like, he's working on the tiniest, like the white line on the side of the highway. That was of my whole thigh.
Exactly right. Exactly.
And I was like, I don't even want to know about that white line on the side of the highway. I was dying.
Yeah.
Dying.
And you notice I apologized at the end. I was like, but we're going to do more of this.
I know. I was like, really? I got really angry in that workout today. It made me really, really angry. Those legs that you did. And then I was angry at myself for being angry. I don't know what kind of emotion I have stored in my thigh in that little white line on the side of the highway. But I literally was so angry during that portion of our workout today. That
I really, you hit something. I just want to say one side note.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone, when you start to work out, if it's good work and you're getting to the core of something, you will be moved emotionally.
Yes.
And sometimes that doesn't make you the best workout partner. And sometimes that doesn't make you in the best mood. But it is an exorcism. Mm-hmm. So get it out.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to the gym. We call it ugly training. If I don't get an ugly look out, if your face don't get ugly, it ain't hard enough. if you still cute through the whole workout, it ain't good enough. It ain't good. Because when something is good, when you bite into something is good, you get ugly for a second. It's just it's so like it should pull out some emotion in there.
Well, it has with me since we started working together. I would cry. I would cry on the way home. Sometimes I wouldn't know I was crying, but I really do believe your body stores emotions in your body, in your muscles, in your joints.
Yes.
And once you start activating things that haven't been activated in a long time, they're supposed to come out. And I welcome it. I completely welcome it because I don't want it in my body. I'd much rather be free of it. Yes. So, and I don't even know it's there. Like, I had no idea what we did today would make me angry, but I was mad. And I kept going, it's so stupid that you're so mad. And so I was mad at being mad, which is stupid also. Anyway.
No, actually, I told you when I first met you, the way you went at your issues, the way you went at it, the willingness to just let it be what it is without judging it, to confront it and dive in deeper, because you wanted to gut it, was going to get you to a place of like real power. And it's been beautiful to watch you like attack these issues we all have as human beings that are toxic, to attack them and gut it out. Because if it stays in there, when it does come out, it's normally at the wrong time toward the wrong person.
Or as an illness.
or as an illness,
I think it
which
turns
is
into.
a dis-ease.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Dis-ease. People don't
Mhm.
really pay attention to these words.
Yeah.
Exorcism,
Yeah.
break fast. Like their words have meaning. It isn't, so like, remember that.
Yes, it is an exorcism for
is.
me. And, you don't even know what's happened to me this year, Mikhail, since we started working out. I don't talk to you about the business part of not that much. You have no idea. I'll have to, when we're not recording, tell you what's been happening since we started working out, because it is monumental, and it is not small, and it is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence.
Well, look at the words, working it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, you want to get to, I have a writer that I train.
Yeah.
She only writes after we train, because when we get inside of her muscle structure, we work her art out. And
right.
She's most activated when her muscle frame is engaged, because she has so many stories trapped in her protective muscle.
Right.
So we do a lot of fighting, a lot of boxing, a lot of this, that, and the other. And it just pours out of her.
Well, I think for me, I know you don't know a whole lot about me, but I did have some trauma in college, some real trauma. I mean, I had trauma growing up with my mom, but I had some physical trauma in college, and that just stays in your body. And working out releases so much of that physical trauma when you've suffered some physical / emotional trauma. I think you have to work out, and you have to breathe.
Yes.
Like if you don't breathe, really, really breathe while you're working out, you can't get it out of your body.
Exactly. And you're not going to want to really breathe, because you feel it. And you're like wanting to stuff it back in there.
Yes, because the breath is connected to the life force. It's connected to the emotion.
Yes.
It's the breath is the key to all of it.
Yes.
So we try not to breathe so we don't feel these things, especially when you've suffered a trauma, like a physical trauma.
Yes.
Then you shut your breath down. Your breath goes to like here, and that's all you can do. It can't go all the way down your diaphragm. It's just it's too upsetting.
Yes.
So if you're someone listening who's had some kind of physical trauma, I think you should expect and embrace, if you're going to start working your body out in this manner, that shit is going to be dug up and vomited out in some capacity.
In fact, most of your undetected pains, the ones that doctors can't find, you're causing.
Yeah, it's because you're holding your body a certain way.
Because you're protecting it. You don't want them to find it. You've protected it. It's been there. You really are not looking for it. And that breath, that's why running is so freeing to a lot of women. Because once you get to a certain phase of running, you have to breathe.
That makes sense.
Once you're 3 miles in, you have to breathe.
Right.
And that's why and then they'll just start crying. It's like, why am I crying?
You're letting shit go, baby.
Letting shit go. Yeah. Especially, that's why they become addicted to it. Like, I got to get my run in. It settles my mind. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But what I want to do is I want to be able to do what you did in that run in 10 minutes.
Right.
That's it. We ain't got time to do no run.
It happens quick with you because you make us breathe.
Yes, ma'am.
Make us breathe with every single.
Yes, ma'am. We will not move until I hear it.
Nope.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
And deep and full.
Yep, deep and full. All right, we're never going to get through all these questions. We'll be here till tomorrow. Okay, I started doing deadlifts and squats on the Smith machine. How often would you recommend lifting heavy weights during the week? Should I add more weight or increase repetitions?
Okay, I love the Smith machine because it's created so that you can't do it wrong.
Oh, that's
Even
great.
Even though a lot of people still manage to do it.
They find a cheat.
They still find a cheat. I don't think you should. If you lift heavy, I think it should always be under the guise of somebody who can spot you.
Right.
I don't think you don't need to lift heavy in order for your body to feel like it's under extreme duress. If you set up against the wall and did a wall squat for 2 minutes, your body under that pressure for that long would have experienced the same thing as if you stepped up on a Smith machine and put 225s on there. Like
Really?
time under pressure makes muscles react. So you get 225 pounds on the bar and then squat real fast, you haven't really done anything. You go put your body on the wall in that pressure area where it's trembling and shaking. You don't have any weight on you except the weight. Your body doesn't care about plates. Your body cares about pressure. So when you're standing up against that wall and you're in that minute and a half, you want to sit down, you want to fall out. Your feet can't, they're just jumping. Like you're on fire right there. Like that is maximum output. That's failure without chance of injury. Lifting heavy is overrated. Lifting heavy looks great in the gym with a bunch of other people around to give you kudos. But unless you're a bodybuilder, it's not necessary. And another word for bodybuilders, at least the ones that win, are called freaks. Yeah, they love that. They know they're freaks. It's a freak show. A bodybuilding contest. These guys don't look like anybody else you're ever going to bump into in the universe. There's nothing normal about what they're doing. They're stretching the imagination of the body to its furthest limits, and they're willing to do whatever they can to push that thing there. There's a reason why between 44 and 52, a lot of them don't make it past that. Here we're talking about some of the healthiest people, quote unquote, you'd ever want to meet, but they're doing freakish things.
Right.
Like if you're not in that contest competing against those guys, heavyweight's overrated.
Well, I can attest a 2-minute wall squat sucks.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It'll cripple you.
It's hard.
180 body lunges. You won't need dumbbells. Like, yeah, it's faster if you use the dumbbells because you're going to go to failure quicker. And yeah, it's great for your ego to know that you lunge 280-pound dumbbells. Is it necessary? No. If you're going to max out, I would suggest once a month. Your joints and the soft tissue and all the stuff that you're going to damage, taking yourself to your furthest point needs time to recover.
That makes sense.
Because you have shock out of it. So, listen, I trained my brother. He set the bench press record in Louisiana. He's 180 pounds. We maxed out. We at the day of the contest, the reason he won is because we only maxed out like twice in 6 months.
Wow.
Everybody else was over maxing, trying to make sure they had it. So when they got there, it was patches everywhere, elbow thing. My brother didn't have nothing wrong with him. We went soft tissue. I knew if I strengthened everything that was soft and could tear, he'd feel great.
Right.
And I wasn't worried about his power because the 2 times we checked it, it was there.
Right.
So we went in healthy. They went in patched up, over maxed out, injured. And in the first lift, we wiped out the competition. We set the record in the first lift. Bang.
You so smart. You're really smart.
I just care.
You're just really smart.
Thank you.
Okay. I still have this, quote, soft fat on my stomach behind my arms and my thighs. I've been feeling frustrated that all my hard work and dedication has not shown results I envisioned for myself. Why has this flabby layer remained? And can you list workouts you would recommend to tighten up the body? Is it the fork control? Is it fork control?
Unfortunately, it's fork control.
And
no matter how much you have changed from what you were doing, it isn't strict enough.
Right.
And it hasn't been long enough.
Right.
Think about it like a car. It's the best explanation was given to me by a mentor of mine. You have to strip a car down to the frame.
Right.
Before you rebuild it.
Right.
Human beings want to strip themselves down to some magical number. No, the fat cells and shit you created are still sagging everywhere. You got to keep going. You got to starve those fat cells. So let me tell people how fat cells work. This is some of the greatest advice you'll love. You'll love this because it's got to all make sense. When you get big, everybody has this number of fat cells, right? As you get big and feed those fat cells, they split, multiply. Now that you're like 200 pounds, 300 pounds, you got 400 million more fat cells. Well, they don't go anywhere because you decided to diet. You still have the fat cells, but you starve them. So they shrink, but they're still hungry and they're still there. That's why you can gain it back so quickly. And that's where liposuction comes in. People suck all the fat cells out that they created and they think fixed. Problem is, your bad habit, just going to take the ones you already saved, split them back out, and you'll be 6 months later back to where you were. You have to fix the habit. So, if you've done exceptionally well and got your body down to a nice size, kudos. If you still see those spillovers, we call it spillage, hanging over in places, you got more work to do. I know you're at the perfect weight. Sorry, we got to strip the car all the way down to the frame till that stuff is gone.
Got it.
Then spot adding's easy.
Got it.
Spot dropping, you can't do. God is he's unfair like that. You want to lose weight, you can't lose all those belts you wear and all the other stuff you think is telling your body to burn fat places. It's sorry. It's the fork. It's the fork. All right. Bert's standing here waiting to tell me something. What's up, babe?
No, I just wanted to come in and see how you guys are doing.
Oh.
I can't hear anything.
We're doing good.
What's up, big dog?
He said, "What's up, big dog?" He can't hear you because I have this.
I wanted so badly. I can't hear you. Leanne has headsets in. I wanted so badly to show you. Oh, Mac. I wanted so badly to show you the new gym and show you the weights that we got in there. I know. I can't hear you at all. So I'm going to get these dogs out of here.
Mama, you got to walk me through that gym at some point.
I will.
You got to walk me
I'll
through it.
give you a tour.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I know. How you like this?
Go ahead. Don't let nobody stop you, brother.
Stripes.
He said, "Go ahead. Don't let anybody stop you, brother."
No one's stopping me. All right. Enjoy your podcast. I just wanted to peek my head in, say hello.
My man.
Thank you for making my wife's body perfect.
Hey,
I don't know about perfect.
Hey, I like this guy right here.
Hey, close the door, babe. He's got to make an appearance. Got to do it. If he's home when I'm recording, he's got to come show his butt. You know they got to show their butt. I know who I married. Okay. I've looked online for workout ideas and created my own Excel workout plan to take me with me to the gym. However, I struggle with the proper structuring of a workout plan. I've currently created a 6-week plan. How often do I repeat the plan before creating a new one to avoid a plateau? Do I divide the plan into upper body, lower body days? Do I lift heavy dumbbells, barbell exercises, more than cardio days? How many days during the week do you recommend exercising at the gym? Whew, that was a long one.
Actually, it's one answer.
Okay.
You can't create a regimen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have enough experience and information to know how the weight work program you've created is going to affect your body, and you're shaped differently than the people you watched online.
Right.
So you can't seek their advice. It's like raising your kid. You can't call your neighbors because they had 2 children and follow their recipe. Your kid's on some other stuff. He's doing the other things.
Right.
You gotta figure that out because they're their own people. So I would say you've sold yourself short a little bit by, you're bright. Obviously, you're bright. You've done the work, the research. You've created a general plan. But there's nothing general about you. You're very unique and specific. And so you need somebody who's looking at your apple, pear, or banana-shaped self and goes, listen, you have weak hamstrings. We need to do 70% there, 30% on the quad. You have a very poor structure. So we need to do a lot more bodies, a lot more of this to get your alignment.
Right.
You have, weak back. So we need to spend more time on your core so I can train the back without injury. You have very thin arms and they're out of symmetry with your pear-shaped legs. So we're going to split the percentages of legs work with weights very little because we don't want to mask them. But up top, we're going to take our time and really bust you open because you need to grow there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
so it's the answer you had before.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a trainer full-time all the time, at least hire one sort of as a consultant to get you up and running on a path. Go do it yourself 3 or 4 weeks, come back and refine. Go do it 2 or 4 more weeks, come back and refine.
Yeah, and I got one better for you. You don't have any money? Okay, good. What do you do well? Because trainers need, like other human beings need. Say you cook well. Man, you can't go to the trainer and be like, I will prep your food for you. I won't buy it, but I'll prep it. I'll cook it, put it in the Tupperware dishes for you. All you have to do is bring the food over and come back and pick it up. How many
Right.
sessions does that work?
Right.
Like, there are things you can do to barter.
That's true.
for
Very
his
true.
expertise.
Bartering is a lost art. My whole hometown bartered everything we had. I went to the gas station and wrote a ticket, and that guy went and got his car fixed by my daddy.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
grew up with everything bartering, and we forget about that. Okay.
Because we're prideful.
And we're lazy, and we're the path of least resistance.
And we
We'll find-
really don't want it.
Mm,
Here's the problem, really. A lot of people really don't want answers. They say they do.
but they don't.
They want you to tell them what they're doing is right.
Mm,
Like the young lady who said the feet up against the wall crunches was an excellent idea. Okay, I got another one for you. Grab 2 chairs, and this is how you do a perfect lunge. You put 2 chairs to the side of you, right? You put your feet together like you're standing, and you just slide one of the legs back until the front knee is a hinge and the back knee is pulling it back. Now make sure that knee stays over your heel. Keep your fingers on your seats. You'll start to feel your body in a slight lean. Right, because a lunge is a single leg deadlift
mhm,
or a single leg squat.
mhm.
And then just lower your knee to the ground and use your fingertips to stop you from over standing up. So you stay in the burn, lower your knees to the ground and pop back up. Use only the front heel to drive your body weight. That's a Smith machine. That's a
Right.
homemade Smith machine with 2
Right.
chairs. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but do you now I gave you that answer. When you do it, it's gonna burn like hell and there's no out because you're low already. Now the question is, how many are you willing to do?
Right.
How often are you willing to do it?
Right. Ooh.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Ooh. Okay. This one's these are now we're getting into some more specific ones. I'm 23 and I have a chronic foot injury that seems to puzzle doctors. I played travel softball till I was 18. The pain got unmanageable. It's been deemed inoperable, but I'm sure there's something that can be done to help the pain. It's been challenging to exercise and get back in shape because after stopping the daily workouts, I got on medication that made me gain weight. What are some basic workouts I can do from home without bearing too much weight on my foot?
Oh.
I kept this one in here. I started to leave it out because I don't feel like she gave us enough information. Like, is it her ball of her foot, the heel of her foot? But then I
Yeah,
thought, well,
look
what
at
are
you.
what are
Look
some
at you. You're
basic workouts?
You're brilliant. Tell this person in
Mhm.
particular, I don't know who you are, but you can do. I've had athletes who've had ankle surgery, and I trained them for 6 weeks without their foot ever needing to be on the floor.
Right.
And so by the time we could put the foot on the floor, they had lost nothing. There
Right.
was no speed loss because I can hit glutes. So here's what I'll do for this particular person. I will create a couple of regimens she can follow so she sees there's answers.
Mm.
And then once she sees that and has that, she can use those 3 or 4 I create for her to take to a trainer and be like, I have an issue with my foot. Can we use the other planes, the supine position, the prone position, to work the entire body without having this foot swell up?
Mhm.
Now, here's what I'd say also about the foot. If it's inoperable, why? And what is exactly wrong with it? And
Yeah.
can they see in an MRI what it is? Because I have always believed that you just talk to doctors who don't know.
Right.
You're talking to doctors who are inspired by other things. You need to find the Albert Einstein, the guy who's willing to fly the kite on top of the roof. You need to find that doctor. Because
Right.
I promise you, there's an answer.
Right.
You're just dealing with a limited resource.
Right. Right. Right.
So do you want the answer? Because I think you should work harder.
Right.
Don't accept no. Don't
Right.
accept I don't know as an answer for that's the answer. He don't know. And
Yeah.
it's okay. I don't know I have a lot of people I lean on. When I don't know something for a client, I find out
Right.
because that's inspiring to me. When a client of mine is hurt, I want to find an answer. I
Right.
take that personally.
Right.
I want to attack that. I want to be part of that resolution and then let that teach me something and take me in a place, in an avenue, in a way, in a direction I would have never gone.
Right.
I've learned more things chasing injuries no one else could fix than I've ever learned in a classroom.
It's because problem solving is the root of all invention and creativity.
Absolutely.
Is problem solving.
Absolutely.
So I love problems because they show you who you really are.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't ever give up on a problem. I will work that problem till that rock is smooth if I can. And yeah, I love problems because they show you who you are.
I've seen you do it.
You know?
So this one person, whoever wrote you this question, I hope she's listening. She can contact you and you can give her my email.
Okay.
And then she will identify herself.
Yep.
And rephrase the question. And this won't cost you anything. I will do these 3 sessions. I will create them. I'm gonna ask you more questions before I do that. I will have someone who I'm training actually perform them on video so you can see it and see exactly what I'm looking for and exactly what you shouldn't do. I'll be very thorough and you'll see. You can get it. You don't have to, this situation doesn't stop anything. It just forces you to be with someone who knows what they're doing.
Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you for doing that. That's really nice.
Sure. I've been in that situation before.
Okay. We only got 3 more.
Okay.
I have 2 knee injuries. One knee was diagnosed with an, osteochondral lesion. Osteochondral lesion.
Okay.
And the other knee is undiagnosed, however, is suspected to be walking on a torn ACL. Popping sound when injury occurred, instability walking down hills and mountains. 5 years ago, I weighed 195 pounds, which was the heaviest I'd ever weighed. My weight constantly fluctuated as a child that carried over into my adulthood. I'm a 29-year-old female, and I started my workouts at home and was able to lose 50 pounds before feeling confident enough to go to a gym. So she didn't really have a question.
Actually, I think I know what the question is.
What's the question?
She never got her knee tended to.
I don't think so. It doesn't sound like either knee.
Right. It's still popping. She's accepted I don't want to call it misdiagnosis, but it sounds like somebody guessed at it. I would love to know if that was an MRI where she got that information from about the knee that she does tend to know about the lesion. I would love to know if they got that off an MRI, how long ago it was. Because if she's talking about popping while it's going up and down hills, that sounds to me like.
Well, I think that's the other knee. One knee has
she has
the
to
lesion.
drag the other one up the hill. So she's walking up and down hills.
I see what you mean.
And I'm like, okay, so what, you think you tore an ACL and you're walking up and down? I don't think so. Right. I mean, if you did, you're
superhuman.
Yeah. Like if you tore your ACL and then went out and walked up the hill, you need to be working with basketball teams. You need to take your regimen and write that thing in a book and print it out and get you some money and then get you a trainer. Because I don't think that. I think there's something a lot more to that. I think what I would do if I was her, and I just want to say this because people want to feel good when they train. Kudos, 50 pounds down, you got discipline. You are locked in. Now you need information so you can maximize that effort. Because everybody gets to a point where they burn out. And I would hate for you to have been this locked in, this focused, and this willing to eat right during a time when you could have been doing the right things for your knees. And then when you're too tired to give a damn anymore, then you get the information you need. You know what I mean? So I would get my knees MRI, both of them.
Right.
And I would get the information.
Right.
And then after you got the information, I can probably give you some advice on how to go about getting it.
And take some action, right?
You have to take action. And if your knees are popping, that's not okay.
No. At 29, that's too young. It's like what I said. At 48, I can't get up off the floor when I put stuff in the dryer. Are you going to accept that for yourself?
Exactly.
No, don't accept that.
No. And just because you can put up with pain doesn't make you.
No.
Listen, nobody gives out trophies to the person that can take the most pain.
That's the truth. And I have to tell you something. When I stopped having back pain, I didn't realize how draining being in pain was all day long. I woke up in pain. Yep. I slept with pain. I woke up with pain. I spent my day in pain, and I just pushed through every day because I'm a push through kind of person.
Yep.
But I tell you what, when I started working out with you and the pain went away, I had no idea how much energy until I didn't have to expend that energy just managing pain.
And I want to say this, all of you people who want to take drugs to deal with the pain, think of pain in your body like a blinking red light in your car. If I could go underneath the hood and pull the blinking red light out, would you let me? Would you let me pull the blinking red light out, even though you know it's blinking to tell you something's wrong with the engine? Would you let me pull out and keep driving the car?
No.
Like when you are on medication, you have stopped yourself from realizing when the blinker's blinking. So how are you ever going to know if you're helping yourself? It makes you keep driving the car when it's telling you it needs to be serviced.
Right. That's a great analogy. Yeah, that's right.
Please don't let the drugs take away the pain, because it has not taken away the pain. It's masked it. And when it comes back to you, it's going to be worse.
I was going to say, what happens is it gets worse and worse, and you don't realize it's worse. And then all of a sudden, it like hits you with a 2x4 and you can't move. And then you know what happened. Goodness. Yes. Okay. Yes. Number 13. I've been on Seroquel for about a year, and I'm down from, this is someone who's not from America, I think, 800 milligrams to 50 milligrams. And I gained 20 pounds in the first month and haven't been able to lose it. I've tried so hard, and I work out 3 to 5 times a week with HIIT. I'm a vegetarian, eat really well. I was wondering, do you have any recommendations of how to lose weight gained by medication? Because I work so hard at trying to combat it, and I am 24 and just want to feel my healthiest.
Okay. She says she's a vegan?
Vegetarian.
Okay. Hey, I'm on a podcast. Please take the celebration back to your room.
I like celebrations. They either come on camera and celebrate with me.
But the first thing I would say is, are you a true vegetarian? Because if you're a true vegetarian, that means you're eating nothing but vegetables. Mm-hmm. Most of my vegetarians are carbo-sugarholics because they're malnutrition. Most of the vegans that have come to me, I have them journal, like I had you journal. It's all carbs and sugar. What they mean is they don't eat meat. They're not real vegans. Oh. If she's a vegetarian, that means all you eat is vegetables. And if that's the case, you're probably protein deficient, which stores fat too.
I didn't know that.
You have to feed muscle. Muscle doesn't eat vegetables. Muscle eats protein. You got to make sure the vegetables you're including in your life's plan are high protein vegetables, beans and such. And then you have to make sure, in order to get enough of the protein in, you're not over calorie. So you need a nutritionist to make sure you figure out the diet to be proper. Because it sounds to me like you're training hard enough. It sounds to me like if you're no longer on the medication and you're drinking the water, it like for your father, it will just flush those toxins out.
Right.
So if your body's not hardening up, it's because you're not feeding the muscle protein enough. It's not getting enough nutrients. So it's storing fat. Right. Like some of the fattest people I know are vegans because they don't like meat. So where do they get their protein from? They like sweets, like carrots and tomatoes. That's still sweets. Mm-hmm. They eat lots of fruit.
Right.
So you don't eat meat because for whatever the reason, you have got to find a protein source.
Right.
And you've got to find a protein source that's high enough where you can feed the body without excessive calorie count.
Right.
So
that's hard to do as a vegetarian.
You need a nutritionist.
Right.
Because I have 5 or 6 guys who are like hell bent on doing it. And they put that work in. Before they can figure out how to manage it, with beans and certain rices and certain, 6 months to a year, really trying different things and because, you go to beans immediately and they're really thick in calories and they, to get enough protein that bellies out because you ate a pot of kidney beans. And you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's difficult when you're a vegan. If you're a true vegan, it's a lot less difficult. If you're a carb or sugarholic, it's almost impossible. So like, she really wants to attack that fat in her body. I would find me a nutritionist to make sure it's nutritionally sound. I'm getting what I need and I'm making the right choices for my body. And then I'd find a trainer to make sure the regimens, just because you work out 3 to 5 times a week don't mean you're doing the right things. And I know you're doing HIIT training, but who's making sure that your rest periods are cut down? You. Because when you're tired, you're just going to stop and act like you forgot what's next and walk over to the list and look. And then that interferes with all of it too. You got to have somebody holding you accountable, forcing you to push yourself to burn those calories. And then you have to make sure that the input is up because it's science.
Right.
Like this works because it's science. You're taking in more than you're putting out, period.
Right.
You're taking in undigestible food, so it's staying, period. So when people tell me, they're vegans, that doesn't mean you're eating right.
Right. It's very true.
They think that because you're eating healthy, that doesn't mean you're eating the right amounts.
Right.
So like all of it is not just eating right, it's the right amounts at the right times, making sure your body has a chance to digest and feed itself nutritionally, and then moving forward, making sure your water intake is good.
Right.
Making sure your iron isn't deficient. If you're feeling really, really tired and you're a vegan, get an iron supplement because it's going to surprise you. That could be all there is.
Right.
But your iron is probably really, really low because you got away from red meat and it's hard to find it, iron in other things, unless you're just killing the spinach and like really taking it in. And so a real good iron supplement, it will surprise you. You'll think you've been infused with a super energy drink. You know what I mean? Like, so like there are ways.
Right.
And getting the right information. If what you're doing isn't working,
ask for help.
Probably not. Yeah.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
If what you're doing is not working, ask for help.
Yeah.
All right, here's our last question. It's long. Okay. I'm 23-year-old female who has endometriosis pretty bad and am 19 pills a day. Don't worry, not all different ones, but they have caused weight fluctuations from 110 down to 80, then back up to 125, and I'm feeling out of shape. I'm only 5 feet tall. I'm on the last step waiting to get my uterus removed so can maybe be without pain. Physical therapy has proven unuseful, even doing the exercises when assigned. Endo causes the muscles in my left leg to contract, making it shorter than my right, and have dislocation in the right side. A short walk sometimes will mean having to lay down for the rest of the day. I try to do yoga and stretches to help loosen my muscles every night for 30 minutes. I was wondering what Mikhail would suggest for workout to help maintain a little strength, what little strength I have left. No, really can't make any progress till it's removed. But with COVID bumps in the road, not sure if it will take another 6 months to a year, but would like something mild to work suggestions in the meantime. So when I can get back into shape, I have the base, and I do have financial limitations.
I would answer that question with one of my favorite phrases.
What's that?
Results and excuses. You can only embrace one of them. If she truly wants results, stop limiting them by saying what's possible because you have no idea what's possible. You've had poor rehab training, and so you just concluded it's ineffective. No, the person administering it was ineffective. And the minute you realize that person didn't know what they were doing, you should have realized your insurance company is paying for you to receive a service. Find the guy in there that the difficult people get. That guy might have taken a different approach to your rehab and you'd be feeling a lot better. You have to get away from what mild thing, what thing can I begin with? This is you trying to tell the trainer what you want to do. You're in a position where none of it is mild. It's all going to be slightly uncomfortable. And if you're serious about getting into shape, that should be your only concern. What you've done is justify not being in shape and then want to know why you're not in shape. You've created an impossible situation for yourself and a lot of reasons why it exists. And I'm going to say this. put your energy, 111-year-old man, someone sent me this clip recently. He said it best. They said, how do you live to be 111? He said, I put all my energy in living because death will come to all of us. You've put all your energy into figuring out why it doesn't work. When it doesn't work, because it doesn't work. Now put all your energy into making it work. And then let's see. No excuses. No, like if the trainer rehab guy isn't working, it isn't rehab, it's him. Find someone else. If you're limited in your resources, you're limited in your thinking because you have the ability to create resource for whatever you need. Who's going to pay for this operation to pull your whole uterus out? You're not limited in resources. You've burnt out. You're burnt out on people who've let you down. We've all been there. You had great energy, I'm sure.
Right.
First time you went to the rehab person, he burnt you out. And now you have lost your faith. But I'm here to tell you, reverse that. Reverse that mindset. Don't fight for your limitations anymore. You find the trainer who isn't scared when you go, I have had this problem for 6 months. They're about to pull my whole uterus out. I have 19. You say you're trying to scare me? I have 19 medications I won't get off of. I feel like I'm out of shape and I'm only willing to do the beginnings of something. What can I do until this is over? It's never going to be over until you decide you really want it to be. And then you have to decide right now that you're going to take the steps that are going to build the foundation in the program. So when they do pull your uterus out, you're just continuing what you started. You can't wait for something to happen and then get serious. Get serious right now. Stop with the things. You don't have enough information to decide what's possible for you. You got to find somebody. You got to find somebody just turned on. And believe me, they're easier to find anything. It's a lot harder to find a good rehab guy than it is to find a bad one. So
well, you know what? I think what a lot of people do too is they go to the first doctor, they accept what he says and goes,
that's right.
That's it. Instead of going, that doesn't feel right. You know, that doesn't, my aunt who was a nurse went to her doctor and he told her she had a hernia because she was overweight and it didn't feel right to her. And she still did not go seek other help. And she was a nurse until she finally, it took her like 6 months later, she went to another doctor and said, this just doesn't jive with me. She had ovarian cancer. And by the time she went to that second doctor, it was too late. It was all over her. And she died like 12 months later. And I thought, that's a nurse who went to that doctor and said, I don't believe this is a hernia and went no further.
Yes.
So something in our culture or in our mindset stops us from going, I don't accept that answer.
You know what stops us?
What?
Don't really want to know. It's scary when something's wrong with you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And so at the end, you want to believe it's a hernia.
Yeah.
I know people who've taken medication 3 years. I'm like, is it getting any better? No, stop now. Why are you still taking some shit that's not working?
Right.
You just told me I've had this problem for 3 years and popping the medicine in your mouth. I said, listen. It's not working.
Right.
But because you think about how many $1 million athletes get second opinions and then third opinions and then fourth opinions. I mean, they're going to the top and they're like, no, I don't like it. I don't like what you're talking about, bro. I'm going over to Brazil. And what happens? They find, like Tiger Woods in his knee, they find this German scientist who's spitting blood because nobody in America has decided to do it. Now everybody's spinning it. You know, it's like we're out here. People who are really turned on by your issues and want to help you get through them. Like if you have a problem and someone gives you a diagnosis and God whispers in your ear, it's not right. It's not right. Because you know what beautiful about the truth? The truth is here. If I tell you it, if you go to another guy, it's still the truth. If you go to another guy, it's still the truth. So if you go to 5 guys and we're all saying the same thing, guess what? Probably right. But if you go to 2 guys, one of them you happen to know, have you really, really tried? You know how many people have told me what when I first came to LA, I was hired by Ghost Gym, Bodies in Motion, all of them. But when they started to talk to me about booth rent, I was like, I'm not paying you any booth rent. I won't use any of your equipment. I'm going to attach my name to your facility, and you'll get my clients money for signing up to your gym, and they won't ever leave. I won't use your equipment, but I'm not paying you to use equipment I don't need. And I won't take one client that you get from the door. Not one. You won't have to give. I won't show no equipment, nothing. I just want to bring my clients to a place. I'll create my own. No. What are you, insane? No one's gonna settle for that. He's right. I went to all 5 gyms. Nobody wanted to give me that deal. And then Gold's Gym gave me the idea. He said, you're gonna pay the rent, or you're not gonna be very successful here. And I was like, I see people training in the park all the time. He's like, yeah, they're extensions of trainers who've been here for a while. I said, I'm gonna just build my gym in my house. You know what he said? You think that in LA people are gonna come to your effing house and train in your effing gym? And I said, when you're in pain, you go where you need to get fixed.
That's right.
And you're gonna see. And I said, now I'm gonna hurt you because I have 14 clients. And when I leave,
so do they
follow me.
Yeah.
And you're in their bank accounts. He didn't believe me. I left, and every single one of them followed me.
Right. And
I realized then, everybody I was trying to employ with was trying to stop me from doing it.
Right.
He basically told me it wouldn't work. We're used to a certain amount of thing here in LA. We need aloe water. We need, fresh towels. We need steam rooms. I said, the human being
need is results.
What you need is results.
Yeah.
Human being doesn't change from the South just because he come up here. I said, no, you have all that stuff because they'll leave because the results aren't here.
That's right. That's it.
And so I'd say this to her. You just went to the wrong facility.
Mm-hmm.
So let's let them have their opinion. I'm not saying they're wrong, but we're going to test that hypothesis. And I think you might find, if you look further and you're willing to not say this, I'm a woman of limited means. Somebody gave me this when I was growing up, and I've never let it go. Think about everything like money. So if you came in to apply for a job for me, would you tell me, listen, you don't have to pay me a lot because I have limited means? No, you would say, break open the bank account and give me let it rain. So you should think about that when you think about your wants.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start talking about what it's going to cost as a reason to stop you from actually looking for what you want. Why don't you find what you want? You may find it, you already got the money to pay for it. And you may find you need to go get the money to pay for it. But either way, you will know the problem, and then the question will really stand in front of you. Do you really want the help?
Right. That is true. You don't know what the dream costs if you don't know what the dream costs. So you got to figure it out.
Yeah, by actually chasing the dream.
Yeah, exactly. And then know how to pay for it.
Because you'd be amazed, like you just said, like you're going to tell me later on about your life. When you chase it, bing, 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 money for, bop, 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 bop. You don't even know how it comes.
It shows up, doesn't it?
It just shows up. Bert, as my mama used to say, birds don't worry about eating. They fly around.
That's a great saying. Birds don't worry about eating.
Hell no, I ain't got no time for that. They gonna eat. You understand? So like, why are you running around here talking about what you ain't got? You got plenty. You got enough sense to write into this show to pay attention to a woman who's out here trying to change the world. And for some reason, she's tapped into your spirit. Okay, so now you're locked in. Now I just gave you some information.
Well, I'll give you another piece of information. This is what I learned in my travels in life. You have to be open to receive. If you don't believe you deserve the means to take care of yourself, the right physical therapist, the proper diagnosis, if you don't believe that you deserve that, you won't find it. You can look all day long, but it ain't going to show up if you don't believe you deserve it. And guess what? That you were born, you deserve.
That you were born.
Yep.
No greater, no favor of man. That you were born, you deserve it. Now,
you deserve it.
I don't know who told you didn't, but
I don't know if somebody did, though. Somebody did.
Told you, yeah.
And that's not true.
Not true.
So, but you can want all you want, but until you believe you deserve it, you won't get it. That's the way I believe. Though I didn't believe I deserved anything until I was late in my 20s. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, I deserve just as much as everybody else. I had a real serious mind shift where I started saying, A, it's okay to want these things. B, you deserve to have them. And you don't deserve, I don't mean deserve from a place of arrogance or ego. I mean from, I am also very spiritual, Mikhail. You are a child of God.
Yeah.
God didn't put you here to be deprived.
No, ma'am.
He put you here to flourish.
Yes, ma'am.
He didn't put you here to shrink.
No, ma'am.
He put you here to grow and flower, because when you grow and flower, it inspires other people to do the same.
Exactly.
There's no way that he put you here so that you could be small and crawl through life small.
And
not the purpose.
I'll tap onto that.
Okay.
If he's put somebody in front of you who's wealthy, he's showing you what's possible.
Absolutely.
Right in your face.
Yes.
He's accepted for whatever the reason, not having, and he's like, well, why? She got it, he got it, and she got it right there in front of you. So you can see three completely different people with no more than you on the ball have it. Why not you?
Right. Why not you? And envy, being one of the 7 deadly sins, is not the way to process that. No. What you do is you rejoice in their success. That's right. Then you say, I'm actually running my own race here. For my race, I would like something similar to that, because you don't want the same as what anybody else has. You want your own race.
That's right.
And when I run my own race, then I own that race. That race was for me, and I crossed the finish line myself. Instead of trying to run your neighbor's race, who might have the car that you don't even actually want, but you think you ought to want it because it's an Audi or whatever the hell it is. And then you're running that race, and you ain't got no business running that race. You need to run your own race to the best of your ability. And I swear to God, shrinking to make other people comfortable does not serve anybody, yourself or your neighbor or God. That is not why you're here.
No. And that reminds me of a country saying you appreciate. My daddy used to say that. When you go to the steakhouse, why are you breaking your neck looking at all the other steaks being brought to somebody else's table? Just wait your turn. Yours being cooked right now. And you might have the biggest steak out of all of them and the best tasting. Your head bent this way, bent that way. You at the steakhouse. Steaks being served. Order is in. Just be cool. Be patient.
Take a breath.
Yours is coming.
It's coming.
Ain't gotta look over there.
That's right.
Yours is coming. Then you gonna mess around, change your order.
Yeah.
And you're gonna miss out on your steak. So I've really taken that. It's like, I'm excited to see good steaks in the steakhouse.
Yeah, totally.
Because that means mine good too.
Yes. And if you envy everybody else's steak, your steak ends up being bitter, doesn't it?
Your steak get cold. You sit around looking at everybody else's steak. Girl, you better get that fork and knife.
That's right. That's a different kind of fork problem.
That's a different kind of fork problem. That's the kind of problem you won't have. I really, really love what you just said. That's huge. Owning that, receiving that, and taking to life with that mentality is healing.
Yes.
It's very healing. Some of her ailment can be really dealt with spiritually.
Yes.
She can find a place of comfort to deal with and confront.
Absolutely.
And answers. Don't ever fight for your limitations. Ever.
I agree with that. Don't fight for your limitations. You know what? All of a sudden, you own them entirely. What you fight for is what you own. So fight for a cure, fight for relief.
That's right.
Fight for freedom, fight for health, for help, for the right person. You fight for that. You don't fight for your limitations ever. I don't care if your limitation is I'm the worst person on the soccer team. You don't fight for your limitations. You fight for what you want and what you believe that you deserve. And it will come. It will come.
I'm going to say one last thing. Right?
Yes. I know we have to go. This has been a very long podcast.
No, I actually
really
love it. This is why I've been brought on this earth is to be part of the healing process in any way that I can be part of that. Whether it's making you laugh through my work as an artist, whether it's my hands on your frame, whether it's my mind. I just want to be used in that way. But there was Andy Warhol said something that I've always carried with me. I keep it on my phone. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself.
That's brilliant.
And I thought, yeah, that's it. Everybody says, yeah, just give it some time. Time don't change it.
Damn thing.
You got to do it.
That's right.
And once you realize that you'll just be in the same space waiting. And then you're gonna have to participate. Things do happen, and you couldn't possibly imagine the size of them.
That is true. You know, part of my philosophy with receiving when I started figuring this out is I stopped asking for specifics. I stopped saying, I want to be a millionaire. And I started saying things like, I want to be financially secure. And I don't care what that looks like. God, you tell me what that looks like. But that's what I'm asking for. I want to be out of pain. I don't know what that looks like. I was going to the chiropractor trying to make that happen. I had MRIs, I've had massages, I had all kind of stuff. And I just kept praying to be out of pain. And I have no agenda or attachment to what that looks like, because actually I believe spiritually that I'm not in control of that. All I can do is say, this is what I'm asking for and I'm willing to have it. Give it to me. I don't care how it shows up. And that's what happened. That's when things started changing for me, when I stopped saying how it should be. When I started saying how I wanted to feel. I want to be financially secure. I don't want to worry about money. I want my bills paid. And, my bills were paid. And they weren't many at the time. And it just kept getting better and better because I kept saying that, thank you. That's what I wanted. All I wanted was to be financially secure. Can I have more of that, please?
You know what's beautiful about what you just said? You were sending that into the universe. And your friend Sandy and them were telling me about you. That's what people don't understand. It's like once you put your special sauce out, you don't know what's being whipped around while you're sitting at home thinking no one's talking. Right. No one's really working on your behalf. You've already done it. It's in the universe. It's being whipped around. Sandy's talking like you didn't even know.
Yeah.
And then working me about you, working me. And I'm like, oh, I don't really have any spaces and working me. And then opportunity arrives because you created it. And I met you and I was like, I am not never walking out of this situation.
Right.
This girl is trying to change the world. And I want to be a part of infusing energy into this vessel, period.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. It was very kind of Sandy to share her hour with me. Yeah. And I thank her for it all the time. And now if I can just get down and dirty on my feelings about Mikhail, are you ready? You are a very truly special human being because you look at people and you see their true self and their true potential. And I think you believe in people far more than they believe in themselves. And that is very special. And to have a mentor in any capacity, be it in your acting, be it in your training, wherever you are a mentor because of who you are as a person. You walk your talk. And not a lot of people walk their talk, but you absolutely walk your talk. And it's inspiring for me to walk my talk because all you have is your word and who you are. and you represent yourself exactly as who you are. What you have done for me personally, I'll tell you when we stop recording some of the semantics of it, but I'll tell you the general. I have never felt more myself than since I've been working out with you. I think I had a real missing piece. I had the mind and I had the spirit, but I was so out of integrity with my body, and they all work together. You can't be balanced if one of them is really out of balance. And working with you was the missing piece that I have never felt in my whole entire life this good. And I don't mean physically good. I mean as a human being. And it is because of you. It's because I'm out of pain. It's because of the commitment that you show, that Sandy and Kat show also, that we commit to each other, that we show up 3 times a week. I don't think we've missed a single session in over a year.
No,
not
ma'am.
one session. It may be reorganized on a different day, but it has not been missed ever.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And that commitment that you made to me is extremely important. I'm going to cry. My daddy made that commitment to me growing up, and my mama didn't. My mama never did. And that leaves a hole in somebody's soul when one of your parents goes, not worth committing to, not worth it. Because that's what I was told regularly. Not worth it. Not right. Not okay. Defiant. Mean. Ungrateful. Doesn't follow what I say. Don't want her around. I was told that. My mom told me I was dead to her when I was 13 years old. And I was for a year. She did it again when I was 23. And she did it again when I was 33. Literally the words, you were dead to me. I don't want to know you. I don't want to know your children. I don't ever want to see you again. And she acted on it. So what that does to you when you're a child, she did it also when I was really small too, leaves a hole. So when someone really invests in you and says, I am here for you, for me, it means something different. It doesn't mean the same as it does for someone maybe like Sandy, who has both parents who've never left her. So for whatever reason, when I showed up to the pit and went, here's what I'm working on. I got the mind, I got the spirit, I don't got the body. And I know there's a bunch of bullshit in this body. You said, give it to me. I got it. That changed my life. And when we stop recording, I'll tell you why. But that changed my life, Mikhail. It changed my life forever. I will never stop working out with you unless you tell me I can't anymore.
Well,
not ever.
That's not going to happen.
I feel like you're one of my soulmates. Like, obviously, I married my main soulmate, but I feel like you're one of the other ones. Sandy's my soulmate. I will never leave that woman. She'd have to kick me out, stab me. She's never going to get rid of me. Her whole family belonged to my soul, and I have a few others, but you are one of them. From the first day I worked out with you, I felt like I had found a soulmate. Thank you so much for all that you have given me and taught me about myself and about my body and about my strength, not just my physical strength, but my emotional and mental strength. I don't know where I would have learned those specific things. I always knew I was a strong person. There's no way I could have lived through what I lived through in my life and not be strong. But it's very different when you are physically strong. And that connects. It just connects in a very different way. It's very powerful what you do.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I just short circuit your whole brain? I can be, you know what? My therapist says I'm a fire hoser. I just fire hose people with my emotion and my passion. And I apologize. I just fire hosed you.
Please, whatever you do not apologize, because you're all I ever really want to be. Sometimes because I'm a very aggressive, very passionate, very a force. A lot of people aren't really ready for that. You know what I mean? And
I understand it completely.
when you find someone who can receive that, like the one thing I do not do is water myself down for you guys. And
No.
and the beauty of it is that I never feel like I have to. So like to know that you've not just received me, but all of me in the way that you have. And we've done, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. Like people do things for money, and they imagine these big checks and these, the way that I feel right now after you said that, there is no sizable check you could hand me that would ever make me feel that full.
Aw, valued. Mm-hmm. You are very valued.
Thank you.
Very valued.
And you are as well.
Well, thank you.
You are as well. I mean, you know how hard it is for me to find time.
Yes,
So,
I do. And I really appreciate it. And I know this was a very long podcast. And I do very much appreciate it.
I'm in this moment. It's as long as it's the shortest moment I'm going to be in next. Like, I don't try and be in the next moment when I'm in one moment. I just try to be in the moment I'm in.
Yeah.
So I really don't have a sense of time when it comes to that. And I wouldn't rather spend an hour, 2 hours of my life doing anything else with this podcast tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad. I'm hoping. I believe that this helped a lot of people. All your questions.
As they add on to the questions, I will come back.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I want to be a source of a reliable source for them.
Well, that's great, and I bet you they will take you up on it.
Okay, good. Let's see him do it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to say goodbye, but stay on for just a minute, okay?
For sure.
All right. Thank you, Mikhail, for doing Wife the Party.
Arrivederci.
Mwah, mwah.
Mwah.